Okay, this right here is my late 2017 iPad Pro 10.5 inch. And a lot of you guys want to know if it's still worth it in 2021. You'll be kind of surprised. Bolo! All right, before we get started, make sure you guys subscribe, make sure you guys comment, and please turn on those post notifications so you would know the next time I have another video available. And at the end of the video, if you like it, hit that thumbs up. If you do not like it, hit that thumbs down. As we all know, I really don't care. So a few of you guys want to know about my older iPad, which is the 10.5 inch 2017 model. I actually got it in 2018, early 2018, but it was the late 2017 model. And I've been rocking with it for a long time. And a lot of you guys want to know if it's still good for iOS production. Well, I'm gonna answer your question right now. Yes, it is. The thing is, I actually got this one right here. I got this one last year, which is the 11 inch 2020 model. And this thing is actually really dope. I do a lot of production on this here at the house. I don't really take this to too many places. It just usually stays here at the house. And I'm gonna tell you why. Even though the newer model does come with a lot of stuff, it comes with that new A12Z chip in it, which is insanely fast. Like, I do video editing now exclusively with LumaFusion on my new iPad, but I actually do a lot of video editing on my old iPad as well because it has an A10 chip in it and it does very well. The rendering times and everything is much better than my actual laptop, which I have the 2012 model with like fully blown out everything. And yeah, I need to upgrade that like ASAP. Those new M1 chips, yeah, pretty dope. But with this 2017 model, I still get a lot of great performance out of it. Now, let's go ahead and compare the two so you guys will know what you're gonna get and, you know, see if this is something that would be right for you or if you should just step up. Now, for all of the people out there who are gonna say, well, you can just go ahead and get the new iPad Air, or you can just get the regular iPad. It has the same specs as the 10.5 Pro model, the 2017 model. I understand all that, but the new iPads don't have something that the older iPads do have, and especially for iOS musicians who are on the go. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the size. Now, I have two of the smaller sizes, and the reason why I have the smaller sizes is because I can just take my iPad, dump it in my bag, and from the 10.5 inch to the 12 inch ones and all that stuff like that, I don't really see a significant difference. I'm not gonna pay no extra money just for a bigger screen, especially when it does the same exact thing. As you can see these two right here, this is the 11 inch and this is the 10.5 inch. If you look at these cases, these things are almost identical in size. This is a slightly a bit bigger, but it's no difference. Under the hood, of course, the newer iPad is much faster. It comes with more RAM. It comes with 6 gigs of RAM. And with the new iPads, it can hold more space. I have a terabyte in that one, and it comes with that chip that I was saying that's insanely fast. With more RAM, and you get more space. Great. They have all that screen stuff where it has like a better screen viewing stuff and all that stuff like that. That's cool, but it's significantly not that much different from the 2017 model. The thing that I really like about the 2017 model is I wish Apple would bring this back because it makes it so much easier when definitely I'm at studios and say for instance, I might have left maybe my camera kit or something, because I have done that before, where I've left my camera kit and all I was basically left with was just the iPad and my intuitive mind. This thing right here, if it shows up, this right here is one of the most important things to me right here, is the headphone jack. Yes, the headphone jack. And some of y'all are probably saying, come on now, why is that so important? These new iPads are a little bit cheaper and you can get it for more and you can just buy accessories for it. My thing is, if I want to be portable, I don't want to be buying so many accessories. Now, when I'm at the house and I'm using my iPad here, I have tons of accessories for it because it's pretty much like a laptop here. But when I'm on the road, I want to be able to just pop in some headphones or just pop in a plug into a studio and play some beats. Some of y'all are saying, well, you know, we're cool with buying dongles and all that stuff. I ain't cool with all that yet. It's just too much. I have to sit there and literally take inventory every time I'm leaving out the house with my newer iPad, and I just got tired of it because I was actually gonna go ahead and get like the $200 for this, but I just ended up keeping it because the performance is pretty much the same depending on how many AUV3 plugins and stuff I got opened up, which I'm gonna discuss that in a second. And basically everything works the same. I have the same software on this one as well. Software is compatible across pretty much all the iPads, and at the end of the day, less plugs. I don't have to bring all these other dongles and everything with it. Now, with that being said, let's talk about performance, and especially one of my most favorite programs, which is Beatmaker 3. I dabble in pretty much all the programs to try to see if there will be a program for me that would be better. But Beatmaker 3 right now is probably one of the best iOS programs out because it just reacts the same way. It's just like a DAW to me. And it's just super easy, and sampling and moving samples and stuff around it is just insanely great. Inside of this iPad, which is the 10.5, the 2017 model, I can get a fairly good amount of VST software instruments and just like some plugins like reverbs, delays, effects, or whatever like that. Now, when we start getting a higher count, maybe around 5 or 6, that's including maybe like 3 AUV3 plugins and like 3 third-party effects plugins that like maybe like a Fab Filter, a Pro L. This thing starts to get a little choppy because it only has 4 gigs of RAM and the chip is not as fast. Now, it's not necessarily the chip's fault, it's more or less you dealing with the RAM. But with the integration of the newer iPad, which is this right here, the 11-inch, they have some like crazy core threading with, you know, the new chip and all that stuff like that, or 12, I forgot, I don't have my notes in front of me, but they have a lot of cores to kind of deal with that type of stuff because they built that iPad for performance and for what we're doing now. This iPad Pro back in the day was not necessarily made for what is going on now with all of, you know, the different photo editing, video editing, and production on these type of machines. But this right here, if you're just sampling, and you can kind of keep the samples down to a minimum, which most people are not going to be sampling 18 tracks of 20-second long samples. You're probably going to be sampling maybe 10 to 12 seconds of a sample, chopping up and using those samples, which it is when you're using that, it only uses what it requires to use. If you're taking those samples and you just laying it all the way out, you won't have any problems with this late 2017 model. Okay, so if you use samples without that much processing, now you still might have to add some processing to it, but if you're using processing along with a whole bunch of AUV3 plugins, then you start heading into problems. But that is very, very rare. I have done a lot of beat making sessions on this channel using this 2017 model. And as you guys can see, if you go through all of my videos and you can see as many plugins as I've used, there's only been maybe like 1 or 2 times where I might have used a very heavily dependent processing AUV3 plugin and it might have kind of skipped or whatever. But I've always found workarounds, which, say for instance, if you want to go ahead and just print to track, there's ways you can print to track inside of the program, and that way it will free up a whole bunch of space out of the memory and you can just continue to keep going, which there's a whole bunch of workarounds, not even on the iPad, but even on the computer. A lot of times people like to print tracks. Even with some of these newer devices, you still have to end up doing that because a lot of these machines are very heavily dependent on using that RAM to make sure that you can use a lot of these plugins and a lot of these VST instruments. So at the end of the day, should you get this? If you are on a budget and you want a great machine, yes, get this, the 10.5 iPad Pro. And I say this because yes, the newer iPads, just a regular iPad, has basically the same thing as this, okay? It does. However, it does not have a headphone jack. So if you want to get something that you can just go ahead, take out the box, put your programs onto, and plug in your headphones and just go to work, this one right here is what you need, the 10.5 inch. Now, if you're cool with having dongles and all that stuff and plugging in, and you might need a little bit more power without using like power banks or whatever, go ahead and get this one. This is a beast. This is the 11-inch 2020 model. A beast, 11-inch to 12-inch or whatever. But I'm telling you right now, if you want to spend, maybe on average, I've seen these between like $400 and $500. Some of these all the way down to about $300, $350 if you can find them on the market. Like this one right here, this only has 256 gigabytes in it, but I do have the extra Apple storage service, which is like $3 a month, and I get gigs of space through Apple or whatever. But if you want to get you a dope iPad that stands the test of time, because this one right here, I took it everywhere, I've dropped it, I've done everything, I've done photos with it, the camera is pretty decent, it's nowhere near like the camera on this one, but everything is pretty decent, it handles its weight, it does a great job, and you can get it for cheap, and it's an iPad Pro as well. I'm telling you right now, go ahead and pick this up. That's if you want to just save on some money and you just are kind of getting started in this iOS production thing. But if you're somebody like me who really wants a lot of performance and you're doing a lot of video editing, a lot of everything on your iPad, and you're not going to necessarily need something just to kind of travel with like real quick or whatever, and you just need something just like with a really high performance and to kind of keep you foolproof, safe over the years, go ahead and spend what I spent, which is around about $1,500 for this full iPad Pro 11-inch 2020, and it's fully maxed out. At the end of the day, this to me is still one of the best iPads made. Some people like the 2018 models, but they have to require dongles and all that stuff as well. I would rather just stick with this one because this has done me well, and I still take it with me on a lot of sessions when I go out of town. So I hope this video was informative. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And like I always say, peace out.